Stop scrolling and take a deep breath with me. Ever wish for a creative escape that's actually relaxing? Well, today we are ditching the stress and the perfect techniques to create a stunning framed memory, something that looks like a masterpiece but feels like pure play. Hello everyone, I'm Revati and welcome to my crafty space. Today we are not making a card. We are creating a beautiful framed keepsake using vibrant colors, gorgeous stamped images, and some delicate die cut florals. This is a real time coloring session, so there's no rush, no fancy rules. Whether you're a seasoned crafter or just love the feel of a paintbrush in your hand, this video is all about slowing down and enjoying the process. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's get crafty. One of my favorite floral collections to talk about is the Altenew's Craft Your Life project kit, Magnificent Magnolias. This all in one kit is truly magnificent. It brings together beautifully illustrated magnolia branches, layered floral elements, and elegant accents so you can create art that feels timeless and sophisticated without a ton of effort. It comes with that gorgeous stamp set with tons of sentiments that you could create so many beautiful different cards, and also coordinating dies which not only cut out our beautiful florals but also those big bold sentiments. This is a kind of collection that's perfect for relaxed, creative sessions like what we are planning to do today, whether you're coloring loose, building layered blossoms, or just soaking up the joy of color and composition. I placed a 5 by 7 watercolor panel onto my stamp wheel, and instead of centering the image, I decided to stamp the large magnolia branch along the longer edges of the panel, diagonally opposite from each other. This creates a really beautiful balanced frame for the painting. Now I stamp the images using a pigment ink which works perfectly with watercolors and gives me enough time to move the color around without any harsh lines. At this stage, you could absolutely take things in a different direction. Add some clear embossing powder over the pigment ink for a subtle, shiny embossed look, or even stamp in a very light ink and go for a no-line coloring technique. But today, I wanted to keep things simple. My main goal was to relax, enjoy the process, and just have fun playing with these beautiful watercolors. Before I removed this panel from my stamp wheel, I went ahead and stamped a sentiment right in the center. I grabbed my grid transparency sheet to help with the placement and stamped my sentiment that reads, "You are a beautiful person inside and out." Since I had already decided to frame this entire space with florals, that sentiment felt like the perfect finishing touch for the center. Now for the fun part, coloring this absolutely gorgeous stamped image. I'm using an old favorite of mine. This is the Altenew Watercolor Brush Markers, and today I'm reaching out for the Spring Garden set, which has some beautiful, bright, and vibrant colors. Now, if you're new to watercoloring, a little tip here: start with just a few colors. You really don't need the entire set on your table. Now, since this image includes branches and leaves, I'm sticking to a yellow, a couple of shades of browns, and a few greens to keep things simple and cohesive. I also have a container of water and a few paintbrushes in different sizes and paper towel nearby. Another beginner tip: always keep that paper towel handy. It's perfect for lifting excess water or softening an area if the color feels too intense. With these watercolor brush markers, you can color directly onto the paper, but if you are just starting out, try adding color lightly and build it up slowly. I like to use a clean, damp paintbrush to pull the color out. This helps distribute the pigment evenly and gives you much more control, especially if you're still getting comfortable with watercoloring. Remember, there's no right or wrong way here. Take your time, enjoy the process, and let the colors do their thing. At this point, I'm going to put on some music and let you enjoy the watercoloring process. Feel free to sit back, relax, and just watch the colors come together. I'll be back once I'm done coloring these stamped images, and then we'll move on to coloring our die cut florals together. So definitely keep watching. Before I step aside, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all the new Instagram Reel Hop that's happening right now. I'm sharing a reel there with a few clips from this video. The theme of the hop is Watercolor Daydream, where we are celebrating everything about watercolors from soft washes and vibrant blends to those dreamy flowing hues. I've included a link to the hop down in the description box below so you can easily check it out. And here's an extra treat, there's also a giveaway happening on Instagram, so don't miss a chance to join and win some fun goodies. And just like that, we have a beautifully colored background. You could absolutely stop right here and leave this as is without adding any flowers, and it would still look lovely. But I wanted to show you how coloring a die cut piece can actually be much more easier and lot more playful than working with these intricate stamped images. In fact, I'm going to share a technique that's perfect if you're just starting out on your watercolor journey. I have these magnolia flowers that I die cut using coordinating die sets, and instead of separating all of the pieces, I'm going to leave them attached to the paper. This is one of my favorite tips, especially for beginners, because this technique makes coloring so much more easier and more manageable, especially when you're working with those detailed floral shapes. You don't have to worry about the tiny pieces moving around, and it gives you so much more control. For my color palette, I wanted a soft pink on my flowers with the slightest hint of yellow. Another beginner tip, start with your lightest color first. I am adding a very gentle touch of yellow right along the edges of my petals. Now, since these are watercolor brush markers, the pigment is already very fluid and moves beautifully with water, unlike a pan or tube watercolor that needs a bit more of mixing and diluting. Once the yellow is down, I go on with a brighter pink on the other half of the petal, diagonally opposite to where we have applied our yellows. Try not to overthink the placement here. Just let the color sit naturally on the paper and you can always soften or move it later on. That's the beauty of working with these absolutely wonderful watercolors. Now, once we have our pinks, all we need to do is grab a clean paintbrush dipped in water and gently pull the colors towards each other. This is where the magic happens. Let the watercolors and the water do the work for you. You will see the pink and yellow blend together softly, creating a beautiful natural transition and even a brand new shade in between. And that's just one of the joys of watercolors. If at any point the color feels too strong, a quick beginner fix is to dry your brush slightly on paper towel and lift some color off. And if you want a deeper color, you can always come back in once everything is dry and add another layer. There's truly no right or wrong way to do this. Add more pigment or keep it light. It completely depends on your mood and the look you're going for. You can even let the petals dry fully before adding a second layer for more depth and dimension. This step is all about experimenting, playing with the color, and enjoying the process. I'm going to follow the same exact process for all the petals of all our flowers, starting with a touch of yellow on one end of each of those petals and pink on the opposite side, and then blending everything together with a clean paintbrush dipped in water. A little tip here, working the same way on every flower helps keep your colors consistent and makes the whole piece feel cohesive without needing to overthink each petal. Just take your time, work slowly, and let the water do the blending for you. Well, if you know me, you know I can't resist a little sparkle. So once I'm finished coloring all the petals, well, yes, they might look a little splotchy at this stage, but don't worry, that's completely normal, especially when you're starting out with watercolors. The magic happens when we assemble them, and I promise the flowers turn up absolutely stunning. Now I have to add a bit of sparkle and shimmer on these flowers, so I placed the colored petals into my splatter box and gave them a light spray of shimmer spray. Always make sure your petals are completely dry before taking them out. This prevents any smudging and keeps the shimmer nice and even. Now, these die cut petals come with a small keyhole style opening, which makes layering them on top of each other so much more easier. I really like to use liquid glue for assembly because it gives a little wiggle room to adjust each layer and make sure that everything lines up perfectly. Start with the largest petals at the bottom and gradually work your way up to the smaller ones. This helps the flower look full and balanced without any gaps. You also have a layering guide on the packaging which you could follow. Once all the petals are layered and glued together, you will see just how gorgeous they turn out. The combination of our blended colors, the shimmer spray, and careful layering really brings these flowers to life, and it's one of the most satisfying parts of the process. Here's a closer look at one of those finished flowers. Isn't it absolutely stunning? These colors, the shimmer, the layering, it all comes together so beautifully. Now all we have to do is carefully assemble the rest of the flowers in place on our panel. Take your time arranging them and play around a bit before gluing them down. This helps you balance the composition and get everything looking just right. Once they are all in place, we can pop our finished piece into the frame and see the magic come together. Well, I usually love adding some splatters to my backgrounds, but honestly, I completely forgot about it at this time. It wasn't until I framed the piece that I realized I had missed them. So here's a quick tip for you. You can easily create your own splatters using a black gel pen. Just draw few dots of different sizes and scatter them randomly around your image. It's a super simple way to add a little extra interest and texture without making the background too busy. And there you have it, a beautiful, clean, and simple framed memory that you can cherish forever. Sometimes the smallest touches make the biggest difference, and the best part is there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just have fun and enjoy with your creation. And that's a wrap on our beautiful framed memory. I hope you enjoyed this relaxing watercolor session as much as I did. If you love this, I want to let you know that I have a real time coloring series where you'll find even more inspiration, calm watercoloring sessions, and simple techniques to play with color at your own pace. I will leave a link to that series down in the description box below, along with links to all the supplies that I used to create this project so you can follow along and craft your own beautiful pieces. Please note that all of the links that I have are affiliate links, which means that if you shop using any of those links, I'll get a small commission at no cost to you guys. Thank you again for joining me today. I can't wait to see you in my next video for more creative, fun, and relaxing coloring.